Can you think of being born into a family name that doesn't open doors? Instead, it slams them shut. A name that, instead of pride, carries horror. For the children and grandchildren of Nazi leaders, the shadow of the Third Reich isn't a history lesson, it's a lifelong sentence. Public suspicion, private shame, the constant question of whether blood ties mean shared guilt. Some descendants fled the past, others confronted it head-on, and a few never let it go. Take Katrin Himmler, great-niece of Heinrich Himmler, the SS chief who engineered the Holocaust. Writing The Himmler Brothers, a German family history to break her family's silence. Yet she admits the weight of her surname just keeps hanging over you, no matter how much good you try to do. Then there's Niklas Frank, son of Hans Frank, Hitler's governor of occupied Poland. Once a boy who idolized his father, Niklas grew to despise him. His memoir, In the Shadow of the Reich, is an unflinching reckoning with betrayal, both of his trust as a son and of humanity itself. Some descendants live in torment, like Monika Hertwig, daughter of Amon Goth, the sadistic camp commandant depicted in Schindler's List. In the documentary Inheritance, she visits the Plaszow concentration camp with a Jewish survivor who once worked as her father's maid. The meeting is raw, a daughter facing the living proof of her father's brutality. Others chose denial. Gudrun Burwitz, Himmler's daughter, spent her life as the so-called Nazi princess. She never renounced this ideology, working quietly with far-right groups until her death in 2018. For her, the family legacy wasn't a curse, it was a badge of loyalty. These responses, rejection, reconciliation, or radicalization, show the painful spectrum of living with a name tied to mass murder. The inheritance of the Third Reich isn't only in names, it's in fortunes. The Quandt family, owner of BMW, built a massive part of their wealth through forced labor during the war. A 2011 study confirmed their complicity, yet their public apologies have been minimal, their wealth untouched. And they are not alone. Shipping magnate Klaus Michael Kühne, Germany's richest man, has faced questions over his family's wartime role in transporting looted property for the Nazis. The answers, when given, are often vague. Silence, it seems, is still the most common inheritance. In the decades since 1945, these heirs have lived in two worlds. One where their names are a relic of power, and another where those same names are synonymous with evil. For some, it's a prison without walls. For others, it's an empire still quietly standing. Being the descendant of a high-ranking Nazi is like walking through life with a target on your back. Some have faced open hostility, refused jobs, harassed by neighbors, even targeted by activists. Niklas Frank has described how strangers have spat at him in the street when they recognize his name. But he doesn't shy away. He travels, lectures, and publicly calls his father a murderer who deserved the rope. For him, silence is complicity. Speaking out is survival. Katrin Himmler has echoed the sentiment. She believes that transparency, laying out the facts without excuses, is the only way to break the chain. But she admits that even when she tells the truth, some people will always look at her and see her great-uncle's face. Not every heir has chosen openness. Some live in deliberate anonymity, changing their names, burying the past so deep that even their children may not know. But secrecy comes with its own cost. When the truth surfaces, as it often does, the exposure can be devastating. Journalists have tracked down the children of notorious SS officers living quietly in South America, their wartime ties hidden for decades. For some, this revelation has destroyed families all over again. Then there are those like Gudrun Burwitz, who never hid and never apologized. She lived a quiet but politically active life within Germany's far-right scene, assisting organizations that supported former SS members. She saw herself as a protector of her father's honor, a chilling reminder that not all heirs turned away from the ideology. A smaller but significant group of Nazi descendants have gone in the opposite direction, becoming activists against anti-Semitism and neo-Nazi ideology. Rainer Höss, grandson of Auschwitz commandant Rudolf Höss, has spent years speaking in schools about the Holocaust, visiting survivor groups. and warning against the dangers of historical revisionism. His family disowned him for it, but he calls it the only moral path forward. Similarly, Bernd Wollschläger, son of a decorated Nazi officer, converted to Judaism, moved to Israel, and served in the Israeli Defense Forces. His life became a living repudiation for the ideology that shaped his father. Even for those who speak out, normal life is hard to find. Media attention follows them. The question, "What do you think about what your father or grandfather did?" never disappears. Some have embraced their unusual fate, writing memoirs, participating in documentaries, or consulting on historical projects. Others try to vanish into small towns, hoping no one ever asks about their family tree. But the truth is, there is no clean escape. Whether they confront it, conceal it, or carry it in silence, the legacy of the Third Reich doesn't fade with time. It clings. It shapes every friendship, every relationship, every moment of trust. And for many heirs, the past isn't past. It's simply waiting at the door. In today's Germany, some heirs of the Third Reich live quietly in extreme wealth, fortunes built, in part, on wartime profits. The Quandt family still controls BMW with an estimated net worth in the tens of billions. While a commissioned report in 2011 acknowledged their use of forced labor during the Nazi era, there was no reparations program, no dismantling of their empire. Critics say the family's wealth is a monument to unpunished crimes, hidden under the gloss of luxury cars. And they are not alone. The Utker family, behind the famous baking goods brand, only in recent years admitted the patriarch's ties to the Waffen-SS. Their public acknowledgement was brief. Their fortune remains untouched. For many heirs, financial inheritance came with moral debt, but the money stayed. In an era of rising far-right movements, Nazi lineage can attract dangerous attention. Some descendants have been approached by extremist groups seeking their endorsement, hoping to use their names as propaganda tools. Many refuse, fearing any public political stance could be twisted into sympathy for their ancestors' ideology. Others actively court the far-right, like Gudrun Burwitz once did, blurring the line between family loyalty and political extremism. Her death in 2018 closed a chapter, but also proved how the Nazi past can remain politically alive through family bloodlines. Younger generations, great-grandchildren and beyond, face a different challenge. Many were born decades after the war, yet still inherit the stigma. School history lessons, media reports, and even Google searches can link them to crimes they never committed. Some reject any responsibility, arguing the sins of the father should not stain the child. Others take an opposite view, saying that ignoring the family past is its own kind of denial. Katharine Himmler has warned that refusing to engage with history allows dangerous myths to grow. "You don't choose your name," she says, "but you choose what you do with it." For the heirs of the Third Reich, the past isn't something that fades, it's something that follows. Even those who move abroad, change their names, and live anonymously can't fully escape it. The weight of history is heavier when it carries your bloodline. Some have turned that weight into a mission, educating others, warning about authoritarianism, and ensuring the horrors of the Nazi era are never repeated. Others remain silent, guarded, perhaps hoping the world will one day forget. But history is patient. As one survivor once said when asked about the descendants of Nazi leaders, they carry ghosts with them. The question is whether they choose to face them or to hide. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.